Welcome back to another YouTube video, traders, and I'm going to try and keep this one short and sweet as always, but you know the deal, it's probably going to go long. Anyway, let's take a look at the chart. Alright, so here's the chart for Tesla. This is actually a 5-year, 1-day chart. So yeah, trying to keep the video short. I just want to sort of recap the last video, then talk about the growth channel briefly, and look at what's happening next. So in the last video, which was almost 3 weeks ago now, sorry guys, we were talking about this action here and the potential to see a repeat of the previous pattern here. So a consolidation into a middle price range and then a move to the downside. And I had talked about these levels up here at 1224 and down here at 998, 1000, and then the middle level of around 1090, and basically volatile consolidation into this middle level, which we did end up seeing. So that was on 1123, right around here. I talked about a trade that I had made where we were way above this level, and I bought a put option, wrote it back down for a nice little profit. And then we talked about the possibility of this playing out, consolidating back into this level. It happened a lot quicker than I was expecting. I thought it would take another week or so at least before we got that move to the downside. But it happened, consolidated back into this level, and then we got a sharp move back to the downside. And now we're getting back into the growth channel. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit for people that are maybe new. This purple channel here on my chart, this is mine. I made it up. Don't if you're googling where's the Tesla growth channel, it's in my head, but I want to talk about it a little bit because I drew this channel specifically probably around at least a year ago, and you know it's been a really good guideline for me going forward. Just look at this breakout here from the channel. It led to the previous all-time high. When we came back into it, bouncing right off it. When we fall into the channel, we came all the way back down to the bottom, bouncing again. I mean, look at these bounces. You know, this channel, like I said, I made it at the beginning of last year, and here we are below the channel, struggling to get back into it. Then when we finally did, back in October, that was the breakout. And now looking back again, which is, we're right around this 1040 level before we fell into the channel, and then boom, immediately another sharp drop as soon as this channel failed. And now today coming in, sort of testing the top again over the past few days, and now coming in finally testing the bottom of the channel, which is something that I've been looking forward to, because if we look back historically, we've seen strong bounces off the bottom of the channel. Here, after the previous fall from the all-time high, a couple of months later, a similar bounce, and then this third time is when we finally fell through. Anyway, coming into the bottom of the channel here, it's certainly a potential for another big bounce, and after we've seen the drop from those previous levels, we're now getting close to this previous all-time high. So looking back historically again, when we make these, well, it's a little bit too far. When we make these new all-time highs, this is last summer, when we broke out from this 360 level all the way up here to 533, and obviously these are pre-split numbers, these are post-split numbers. This wouldn't have been the price at the time, so multiply by 5. But we broke out. When we came back in, we come back into those previous all-time highs. We saw it again with the all-time high that we hit in the beginning of this year, breaking out to, I think, eventually around 900, and then shortly thereafter, within the next couple of months, we would come back down and test that support around 533.9, the previous all-time high. So I think we have a couple of possibilities here. The first one, which I think is the most relevant short-term, most likely, we're bouncing off the bottom of the channel. We should see a nice little pop. And typically, let's look at this one more time. So typically, last time, this is a very similar candle. Not quite as long of a tail, but let's see. It took about only 2 days here. So a very sharp drop the last time when we broke back into the channel and went to the bottom. here it's taken us, this first one was a little bit of fake out, showing some strength. We actually got back above the channel, and then now the second time, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles to get back down to the bottom. So a little bit slower descent. Maybe that's showing some strength, some resistance. Obviously the market's been fairly strong, even though we've had pullbacks recently with inflation fears. We're still very close to all-time highs. But the point I'm trying to make is after the bounce, 1, 2, 3 days of very strong growth, going from what was 537 back up to a short-term high of 718. So almost 200, didn't mean to make a line there, almost 200 points over the course of 1, 2, 3 days off a bounce at the bottom of the channel. So I think that's probably the most eminent possibility. Obviously the market's going to have to play a little bit of a ball, play ball with us. Just want to look over here really quick. So this bottom left hand chart here, we got modified Bollinger Bands, but what I want to focus on is the bottom chart here. This is a 4-hour 180-day chart, and this is an RSI relative strength index. As you can see, over the 6-month timeline, we are very much in the underbought category right now. So I think that lends a little bit more potential to this possibility of getting a strong bounce off the bottom. And over the next couple of days, that's what I'm going to look for first and foremost, is do we get a nice strong bounce off the bottom, potentially from this 926 level. Top of the channel would be around 1044. That's 120 points or so. If we get a little bit of an extra push, I think this next resistance here, the next major resistance, is around 1092. I'd be surprised if we can visit that over the next 3 days. But if the markets turn around, if we have a nice strong bounce, it's possible. I'd say that's our upper limit for the potential trade off of this sort of bottom growth trend channel bounce. Talking more long term, I think it's a little bit more hard to say. How long is this downtrend channel going to hold? It's pretty sharp, and I think the growth trend channel is definitely stronger. It's got more historical precedent, and I'd be surprised if Tesla ultimately goes lower than this previous all-time high over 884. Maybe briefly with a quick bounce, at this 842 level. Very quick bounce, but ultimately I'd expect us to see 884 as sort of the new bottom. As we've typically seen in the past, the previous all-time high becomes that new bottom level, and we start to slowly build up from there. So I think right now we're in a pretty decent spot. We still haven't revisited that level, so I think you can anticipate that at some point. But in the short term, I'd expect a bounce, and I'd like to see us sort of follow this growth trend channel for a little while, depending on what the market does. If it continues to fall, if we continue to see inflation and Omicron variant fears, this trend channel, the downtrend, may hold long enough for us to go down and get that visit to 884, which would be a great buying opportunity. Even if we see 842, I think it'll be very briefly. If you get below 884, that's a great buying opportunity. Honestly, anything below this level right now is a great buying opportunity over the very long term. And again, in the short term, I do expect to see this bounce tomorrow. That's pretty much it, guys. Okay, so I tried to keep it short, but here we are. It's another 10-minute video. Hopefully there wasn't too much rambling in there. I tried to give you guys some good content. It's been a little while. I think that's one of the main problems with taking so much time in between these videos, is that I've got too much to say. When I do a video every single day, it's a lot easier to keep them short. So I apologize. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. If you're new and you enjoy the content, subscribe. I have finished the semester. Actually, yesterday finished my last final. So hopefully, I anticipate over the next couple of weeks at least, I'll be making more frequent videos until school starts again in January. But for the meantime, yeah, hopefully we'll have some more videos coming out. And again, I apologize for the delay in between, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Tesla stock. As always, I love to hear your guys' thoughts and what you think about the video. Drop a like as always, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.